Hello everyone, just Goran here and welcome back to another episode of Building the Beekse Bergen. And today we are finally getting started with the Elephant Valley. This will be the last thing that we tackle in this series. After that we are going to finish up the project, at least I do hope so. At least that's the plan. We'll see how things evolve, but it's not a simple project. It's a very big habitat, as you can see, for the elephants, but also an aviary, a habitat for hyenas, modifications to the cheetah habitat. We might be making some changes to the Africa village as well, so it'll probably be more than just one episode. I'll see how it goes. Let's get started right away. As you can see, I already laid out the shape of the elephant habitat. I did that pretty much as soon as the construction was announced. So the next step, I guess, would be to lay out the rest of the things. There's a couple of things that need to be moved. There's a couple of things that need to be removed. So yeah, let's get to work. Alright, never trust the work you did like half a year ago, I guess. I was following that layout that I had laid out, and yeah, no, it's not great. As you can see, with the layout that we had, the paths would have to go through the old elephant habitat. That doesn't make sense. Also, the huts of the Africa village don't quite line up. There's just a lot wrong, especially down here where we actually have the maps. I had these two pieces of billboard separated, and they were completely misaligned. Like, they were several meters off. They're still off right now, but it was much worse before. So I'm actually fixing it now, putting it back in the right spot, but that does mean that I basically have to start over from scratch and redo all of this stuff. But that's fine. At least it'll be in the right spot, because my first thought was like, oh yeah, I can fix that. I can move some stuff around and cobble something together that is accurate enough. But I feel like that was going to be a major headache. So let's actually see how this piece lines up now with the rest of the things. We can see that over there it's not exactly perfect. Over here it's actually pretty good in terms of the stalls and stuff, but yeah, it looks like the shape over here just isn't quite right in general back here where the stalls are. So that's maybe something to work on as well, getting that proper, because as far as the rest is concerned, it does actually look to be aligned pretty well. If I look at these gates over there and the stall over here, that all seems to line up pretty well. So I think we might actually keep this. Alright, so we'll have to do a couple of fixes to the old elephant habitat on top of the new one, but that's fine, we can do that. Alright, the entire layout has been readjusted, and I'm already running into some issues while trying to get all of the terrain heights correct before we get to any proper building. But as I'm laying out everything and figuring out the spaces, I realized that we don't have enough space for this playground over here. This swing set I actually built a long time ago for the Africa village, way back when. The swing set has been moved from the Africa village to over here, so I actually have a nice reference point of what that needs to be like. And yeah, this is just not fitting in this place. I could try to make it smaller. I'm not sure if that would be very accurate, because if we make it any smaller, I mean, the kids are just gonna collide in the center, right? That doesn't seem very safe. So one thing that I know is wrong, but I was hoping I wouldn't have to change, is that this little outpost over here is actually in the wrong spot. If we take this fence, for instance, and we take that down here, you can see that it should actually be way over there. So I guess we can try to fix that. I guess we can go and move that over, and then we'll create a lot more extra space. If we can move everything over, we'll have more space for the playground. Okay, everything has been shifted over and looking pretty decent, if I do say so myself. One thing that does need to technically change is that this fencing is now a bit too long. It needs to stop like over here and already go sideways, but I don't think you'll notice. So yeah, that's all moved, and now we have enough space for the swing set. I'll probably make a new one anyway, because we have way better pieces for it now with like the chains and stuff. But we'll get that when we get to actually building. I don't really want to build anything just yet. I just want to work on the layout. I love it when the sidelines are already becoming apparent. I'm working on laying out the area of the hyena habitat over here, which has that beautiful predator-prey effect with the elephants behind them. And yeah, it works, so that is already super exciting. I do hope that I'm laying everything out correctly. I'm noticing in a bunch of places that this drawing does not accurately represent what has been built in real life. The shapes of some of these things, like the backstages and stuff, is slightly different from what I can tell. So yeah, I'm just trying to work everything out to the best of my ability, and then we're just gonna build it. And I hope I'm not having to redo a bunch of terrain work while getting to the building part. That's the main goal here, but I'm afraid that might actually happen after all. We're getting further and further along the process, and now we are in the Africa village, and this brings a bittersweet moment, namely that we are going to get rid of the aviaries, both of them. They are gone in real life, and I've kept them around for a while, especially this one, because I'm just really proud of it, especially with the custom audio and stuff in there. But yeah, it's time to get everything up to speed on the real zoo, so just gotta go. And it will always be in version 1 of the zoo, luckily, so I don't have to say goodbye to it forever, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, this is kind of the sad part of keeping the zoo up to date, I guess, is that if the real zoo removes something that I was really proud of, then yeah, it has to go. And probably the strangest thing about this entire area reconstruction, whatever, is that we have to move this building, which is like, I need to go. I forgot how poorly these were made. Like, these are so old, and part of me really wants to redo them because they are very dated. Part of me does not want to redo them because they would take a lot of time, and we will find out somewhere in the coming months, as we get through this project and through this area, where the coin is gonna land on whether or not I will be redoing all of the houses of the Africa village with fun pieces instead of but yeah, what I was talking about is that this entire house has moved, and looks like we didn't get everything right. Yeah, this entire house has been moved to, like, I don't know, over here or something? Like over here, and it's rotated as well, from what I could tell. It's crazy to me. Like, I think I saw a video at some point of it being lifted up, or at least the roof being lifted up. I don't think that's a video I still have anywhere. It was like shared on social media by the designer. Yeah, crazy. It's so crazy touching up an old area like this that you've done ages ago, and we have to make a lot of changes to it now, and it's like, oh wow, that tree, it's not exactly in the right spot, but you can actually still kind of tell that even back then I tried putting all the trees in the exact right spot and stuff. Because this used to be the goat habitat, right, where we're building now. It used to be the little area where you had the goat petting part, which is no longer there. But yeah, I built that, I guess, 4 years ago. Can you imagine? Oh, it's so weird that we're still doing this, but also that we're like almost done with it. Surreal. Okay, so I know that the heights around the zoo are not accurate. There's inaccuracies in the levels of terrain all over the place. But now I'm running into an issue, especially when you're working on a habitat this big and you're doing it pretty accurately all the way around. Crossing areas that you've done in the past, you're going to find out that they're actually wrong, or at least that they're wrong in terms of what you're doing now. So how do you go about solving that? I have figured out that with what the current height of the elephant bear is, which is the same all the way around, so we can't really change it. The height of the terrain next to it should be roughly this. So that would mean that this needs to be lower. So does that mean that everything should be lower? How should we go about that? And also, that would mean that the Africa village would have to be lower. How would we go about that? And it's not even a little bit. It's like a full meter height difference in terms of the Africa village. So that is quite a lot and quite something to just go about and change, right? I will say, for the most part, I would like to make changes to the Africa village. So that's not the issue here. I'm still on the fence on whether or not to redo the huts themselves, but things like this stacked stone stuff can really nicely be replaced with Haribo's stone walls. I think that would look incredible, actually. A lot of this stuff has to go anyway, because all of this stone has been taken out and replaced with the same kind of sand stuff. So most of the pathing is going to have to be redone anyway. And actually, the more that I think about it, with how much we have to change in the Africa village, I might as well redo the huts. Crap. What does help in this decision is that this area over here is actually no longer here. This has entirely been removed. All these trees are gone, and they have rerouted the path around here. And that actually gives us a lot more room to play with in terms of reshaping what we want the Africa village to be like. Yeah, because we can actually remove all this. And since we have to redo this anyway, I'm actually pretty okay with just taking out all the pathing right now, and actually also taking out this entire terrace, because I want to redo that as well. So yeah, let's just take everything out except for the huts and deal with it later. Good news, everyone. I have found the problem. This fence over here should be at this height. Wait a minute, that isn't good news at all. Alright, enough with the horrible Farnsworth impression. Yeah, this all needs to be lower down. So that's technically good news, because that does mean that it'll be easier to align it with the height of this area. But it does mean that, yeah, we definitely do need to redo a lot of stuff around this area. But, I mean, as you can see, I laid out what the new path roughly is. I need to judge it purely off of pictures, because that's all I have, and I don't have that many. But yeah, it looks like this is roughly what the path is. And something's wrong already, because this should be higher than this, and it really isn't. So yeah, this does definitely need to be lower, and then we can make this path slope up slightly. And yeah, let's just do some terrain work around here. We need to get rid of all the pathing, because this is all going to change anyway. Yeah, lots to do, but it's working out. Everything's falling somewhat into place. You know what? I do not remember spamming this area full of carrots. Okay, I feel like I'm going on about this for too long, but I just had another great discovery. In the episode of the rhino field, I don't know if I mentioned this in the actual episode, but I noticed in order for this area over here with the big puddle to be kind of in line with this area over here, it would need to be 1 meter lower, because this is supposed to be in line with that brick over there. So, I mean, it's supposed to be 1 meter lower from this side now as well. So it's all kind of coming full circle. But that does mean that if I want to do this right, we're going to need to move the entire white rhino stall down as well. Now my past self would absolutely hate me for making me have to redo this pathing, but honestly now with free build we can do so much better. This isn't even close to what we can do. This was done without free build. Can you imagine that? Anyway, let's put it in place. So it used to be at this height, and now we're moving it down to this height. over here. I just realized I didn't bring the puddle decals because they were grouped up with that one. So we'll fix that. Alright, this area is in a huge mess right now, and I'm probably going to regret this, but I think I'm done for the time being. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work out. Like, that's the goal of this episode, is to plan everything, to get the terrain in a place where I can be like, yes, I won't have to make major adjustments anymore. So there might be viewing areas in bushes and whatever all of this is, but I'm convinced that when I actually get to building this area, I will be able to fix it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna build it, but we'll do that later. So let's keep on going with the actual elephant habitat, and then we'll be done for the time being. That will be the end of this episode. Alright, once we had all of the correct heights all set up, and for sure, then it was all not that difficult to get everything in place, I would say. So this entire path is now ready. We got the water pool over here where the elephants will be able to bathe eventually, and over here the bridge or the tunnel is a bridge for the elephants, but it feels more like a tunnel for humans, right? Yeah, also another viewing point of the main exhibit, or the old exhibit over here, and here we can go through the tunnel, come up here. This path will join us back up at that little playground in the distance over there, and over here we've got a view of the bull yard, which is probably not going to be used that much. It's a bit on the small side, especially in the scale that we're building at, of course. But yeah, all looking pretty good. It looks like a mess right now. It feels like we did not make that much progress this episode, but we definitely did. Even though we destroyed half the Africa village, we did manage to lay out a lot of the area surrounding the new Elephant Valley. Doing this preparation work will make it so much easier when I actually get to start building the stuff, because now it's literally just a case of, oh hey, I need a rock wall here, put down a rock wall. Oh hey, I need to update the swing set and make some playground stuff, put them down, get some plants around there, done. To the next thing, aviary. Okay, let's put down the beams, do the ropes, maybe do the netting, not sure yet. The little hut, plop down some back. Like, it's gonna be so much easier to build all this stuff now that the most difficult part, which is figuring out where everything needs to go, that's been done. So now it's really just gonna be a case of building stuff. And I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm sharing that with you in the next episode. But I'm gonna leave this episode here for now because it's long enough as it is. I hope you still found it interesting to see the entire laying out stuff process, especially with the revelations we made about halfway through. I thought that was really fun and interesting. But yeah, in the next episode we'll really get to some builds, and you'll really get to see this area come together, hopefully. So I'll see you then, and bye bye.